Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Yay Networks.
You're listening to the Chatty Daddies podcast.
Everybody, welcome to the Chatty Daddies.
It's a podcast from three dads who think they are parenting experts.
But we're not, and that's okay. We just like talking.
If you could rank us as fathers, tell us who you think the best one is, the second best, and the third best. Go ahead and send that to @Chatty Daddies.
Oh, good.
On
I thought
Instagram.
you were asking like us to rank each other.
No, well, we would just pick who's second, right?
I guess because we all assume we're the best.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, JC, who do you think second best?
Second best dad?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm going to have to go with experience.
Oh,
so.
that's messed up. Now, I do want to know, do you ever have, do you feel like you're a good parent, like you're doing it right?
Sometimes.
I got to tell you, I feel like I am the greatest dad that's ever been born pretty much ever, every day.
That's good.
I feel I'm like, I am the greatest dad of all time. You're killing it. I'm killing it right now.
I go through a lot of, am I doing it right phases lately.
Oh, yeah.
I am constantly second-guessing myself. I'm constantly wondering if I said the right or the wrong thing.
Interesting. When did you ever feel like you were doing it right? Like you were doing great? Like even when they were, like when Kaysen was just born, were you I'm doing this perfectly right. I change a diaper. I can do all the things that need to be done. I've done laundry tonight. I'm killing it.
Yeah, I would say once they started, probably when he turned 4 is when I started having my doubts, right? When you have to, have conversations with them and you got to start teaching them right from wrong and you got to start implementing little timeouts and punishments here and there and they actually understand what's happening. That's when you lose your cool on them, because there's going to be the time, your first time where you lose your cool.
Yeah.
And you see it in their eyes like, oh, my dad sucks.
Trey, you're doing a great job. Don't want to burst your bubble. You keep it up. But it's not hard yet.
Right.
So it's easy to be a good dad right now.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is make sure you don't drop them, feed them.
Yeah.
Calm them down when they cry and you're good. Successful day.
Now, how much harder does it get? Because I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah. Once they start being able to somewhat express themselves and do what they want to do, or they're able to run away from you, and their personality starts coming out, that's when it gets tough. When they're defiant, when they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that's when it gets rough.
They want to test. So here, they want to test their limits. There's going to come a point, and what was it, Nick? Probably around 2 or 3 years old.
2-ish, yeah.
They start testing the limits of what they can and can't get away with, and that's where you gotta draw your line, and that's when you can start getting walked all over and giving them that freedom to push the limits, or you can nip it in the bud. And I feel like some parents wait a little bit too long, and then it becomes a little too late, which is I think what happened with me with Kaysen with the first one. I think I was first kid. I think I was just thinking, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. I'm gonna be a little more lenient with him, and then it just got progressively tougher.
Yeah, because every parent starts out saying, I'm not going to be super strict or mean or be that parent that's constantly saying no all the time. But you turn into that very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat as you. It's like, man, I know I lose my cool too much. But they're just constantly going to be pushing your boundaries. They know they can't do something, but they're going to keep testing your limits, and they're going to start crying and they're going to act out until they get their way, because they know that if they do that enough, mom and dad will cave in eventually. And so It's really hard to stand your ground. And a lot of times I don't, or I lose my cool way too quickly.
Screw it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
Just do it. I don't care anymore.
For us, it was around 2-ish or so. My son started really acting up bad, and that lasted for about 2 years. And once he turned 4, something happened where he started getting a little calmer and nicer, a little bit.
Mellow out, yeah.
Mellowed out a little bit. And now my daughter just turned 2. She's about 2.5 now, and she's in that mode of really pushing the boundaries right now. where, she's bossing us around. She's, yelling, screaming, flopping on the floor if she doesn't get to. She loves playing with certain things like an ice pack. She loves going to opening the freezer and we won't let her, like just little things. And she starts freaking out. And a few weekends ago, it was just one of those weekends, JC, where neither kid is acting right. From when we picked them up at daycare on Friday until we dropped them off at daycare on Monday, it was non-stop screaming, yelling, fighting with each other. And, my wife was in tears at one point. It's like, what's wrong with our kids? It was just one of those weekends where it was just like...
Do you feel like it takes a day? Like, do you have to go to bed and then wake up, start a new day, or do you think you can get it back on track within the day? Have you been able to get it back on track?
Try to get it within the day. Yeah. You try to, and usually I've heard, and hey, we say we're experts, but we're not. What I've heard is when kids that are pretty young, most of their issues are going to come from they're tired or they're hungry.
Yeah,
and so sometimes it's just. Give them a snack. Even if giving them a snack right now is going to ruin their dinner and they're not going to eat dinner and then you might have problems later that night, just give them a snack. Give them something right now, whatever it is, to just move past it.
The difference between us and kids, and it's with injuries, I've noticed, and also with behavior. So when my kids act up and they get in trouble and let's say I lose my cool and I yell at them and I send them to the room, I send them to timeout so we could all calm down. They are back to being happy-go-lucky within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, nothing happened. Everything, they come back, hey, Papa, what's going on? Hug and everything. Meanwhile, I'm still in my feelings, like I'm still upset.
Right.
So they bounce back so fast from being angry or whatever the heck was going on in their little minds, where us as adults, we don't. And that's the same with injury. They fall down and they act like they broke their arm and, oh no, I'm dying. And 15 minutes later, he's back playing on the monkey bars. Where if I fall down and hurt my arm, I'm out for like 2 weeks.
Do you think that either you or your wife is more the disciplinarian? Or are y'all in lockstep in what you want to do and how y'all want to discipline the children?
I kind of think my wife and I are kind of on the same page.
That's good.
With a lot of things. I don't think she's ever done anything that's too severe or got onto the kids too quickly.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen any of that.
I would say the best trick to this is being even with that. You don't want to have a good cop, bad cop.
Oh, of course.
Then the kids are going to start siding with one parent and liking one parent more if that's my mom's always the nice one, my dad's always the one that's yelling at me. So I think we split it up. And if we see, Kinsey and I have this agreement, and I think all parents should have this, because it took a couple times before we realized, hey, I probably didn't act the best possible way as a parent right there. So if you see me getting a little too heated or you see me losing my cool too much, step in, right? So we have this thing where if I see Kinsey's, she had a long day or maybe she's tired and the kids are annoying her and she's been with the kids all day because I've been working, and I see her losing her cool or potentially getting there, I'll give her, we have a look. Like I could just give her the look of, it's the, you put your hand up and you say, I got this.
Yeah, it's like a tag team thing.
Yeah, and we both been pretty good about that, where it kind of snaps you out of it, and Kinsey will look at me and she goes, okay, and she'll go to the room to cool down, and then I take it from there. And I would say 80 to 90% of the time, something that could have been catastrophically, one of those screaming matches turns into just a really chill, all right, don't do this, I'm sorry, boom, move on. So you just gotta be a team almost. You gotta help each other out so you never get to that point.
Yeah, I agree. And, my wife and I, she probably does it more to me where she says, let's switch. Normally
right.
It's like one parent is watching one kid, the other parent's watching the other kid, and be like, let's switch, or vice versa. But yeah, usually it's her doing it to me because, I lose my cool and I'll blow up and yell very quickly.
One of us has a shorter fuse, and that's totally normal and cool.
Yeah. And man, I feel so bad after I yell at them and stuff, and so you got to go back and apologize, but I don't know. How about just ups and downs?
Not even like discipline, but with the nighttime routine. Do y'all switch it up or do y'all have the exact same routine every night? Because like if on Tuesday night I do a bath, then Wednesday night Kara would do the bath and I'll clean up stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's good to do.
We just flip flop back and forth every other night.
For myself, with two kids.
Exactly. Y'all have a different situation.
My wife and I are up for whatever when it comes to bath time because my kids like taking showers or baths. So we give them the choice. Do you want to take a bath or a shower? And then it's who do you want to give you the bath or the shower? So they can pick. Sometimes that starts fights and arguments, but for the most part, it works out okay. But we do trade off each night. We'll switch kids who we're putting to bed because they go to bed at the same time. So we just switch off each night.
I think one of the things I read, because Kason, my son was really a difficult sleeper, and I know there's a lot of kids out there. What we kept being told is that kids need routine and they need structure. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that now that my kids are older and we're having family come by with their small kids, the kids that don't have a routine, like a bedtime routine or structure when it comes to that, are a mess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they tend to have a little bit more behavioral issues, and you try to help other parents out, but you don't want to butt in. But this whole we've had this structure since our kids were little. You know, we would shower or bathe them at the same time every night when they were little. To now today, they shower on their own, but they go shower at the same time. They know they got to start brushing their teeth at about their bedtime's 8:30. So at 8:20, they know that they got to turn off the TV or put away the Lego or the games, whatever they're playing.
8:20, the show's not. Oh wait, it's not the 1990s anymore.
No, they watch recorded stuff. So at 8:20, they usually go up and brush their teeth. At 8:30, Kinsey and I are upstairs. I sing to Chloe first. She sings to Kason. We switch. I sing to Kason. She sings to Chloe. We kiss them goodnight, and we go downstairs. And it's been like that since they were born, basically, since Chloe had been born. We created this routine, and it's actually worked pretty well.
Trey, I think a lot of our problems that we have on the weekends are when things are unstructured.
Yeah.
Because if you just have 2 days wide open, you know, they're in daycare every day, so they have a structure and they know what they're doing. So we try to structure every day on the weekends doing something. And luckily, we've had my son will go to soccer, so he has that in the mornings. And after that, we usually go to the library and he picks out a book and a movie. And then we come home and have lunch. And then in the afternoons, we can try and do something like go to one of our grandparents' houses or go to a friend's house, do something. And we just try to do that each day. Or if not, that's when we have big meltdowns of the kids are going crazy because they don't have a structure.
Yeah. Do you incorporate reading into their nighttime routine?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's a big thing. Now, JC's got the musical side of things, which I like, but I'm not particularly musically talented. So we go with the book route, trying to help them use their brains as they go to sleep. Do you read them anything like out of the ordinary? Do you just the classics over and over again?
We go to the library a lot, like I said, every week. So they'll pick books out there. Sometimes, we have a ton of books already, so it's just kind of a hodgepodge of things. And what I've figured out, Trey, I don't know if this is where you're going. I hope I'm not ruining anything. Dr. Seuss sucks. I hate it. The books are... A lot of the books are so long.
Yes, they are.
And it's super wordy and it's hard to read and it's confusing for the kid and they don't know what's going on with these weird creatures and it's just miserable. I hate it. I grab 5 pages at a time and turn it. And they don't know any difference. I'm just trying to get past this Fox and Socks book.
Dude, I try. It's like an
tongue twister
for the radio.
Or something.
I'm trying to learn to be able to read for a copy better.
Yeah.
So I'll try to read through the whole book without messing up. It's a game for me. I've only done it like once because it is super hard to read. Oh, the things you can think. Oh, the things you can think and Oh, Say Can You Say are both very hard, and Fox and Socks? Fox and Socks is a rough one.
You know which book was great for us, and it's quick, and if you don't have, most parents have this, I think, but Goodnight Moon.
Oh, it's great. Goodnight Moon's wonderful.
That is what every nighttime book should be. It's quick, it's to the point, there's not many words on there, there's pictures for the kids to look at, boom, done within 5 minutes or less.
Goodnight bowl full of mush, goodnight granny whispering hush.
Do you do voices?
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
You got to get a voice or two every once in a while. We've been reading to Quaid The Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, wow. Did y'all do Harry Potter at one point?
I read the very first book of Harry Potter and started the second one. And then like 3 chapters in, there's a dead cat. And I was like, this is too, like, I don't need Quaid to hear about death and all that. How old is Quaid again? He is 8 months old right now. Yes. The Chronicles of Narnia is really just for the parents to sit there and like pretend like we're giving the kid a real book. It has no pictures. Kara's just reading it out loud.
Does she
for
do
me.
voices?
She doesn't do a whole lot of voices. Every once in a while, she'll throw one in. It's pretty funny. But we got to a quote that I thought was really interesting in the 6th book, which I believe is called The Silver
You've read
Chair.
6 books already?
She's on the 6th books. We just sit there like as it's time to go to bed. Like I'll kind of play with him with a toy in my lap while she reads to him. And the quote was, "We're all babies just playing a game." Mm-hmm. Oh. And I sat there and I thought about that quote. Like, we are all just babies with a made-up game. That's what we're doing in the world. Like, all of this is just nonsense. Somebody was like, "Oh, we should do that," and then now we've done it for 200 years, and it's nuts. And that I was like, "Wow, that is a quote that really is going to stick with me for a while." And do y'all have any quotes that you would stick with you?
You know, I do. There is. It's not really. We've come up with our own quote. It's not from a book, Trey.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not derailing the idea of the segment. But there is something we do. I hope you guys don't hate me. I'm going to play audio off my phone. Okay. I did not come prepared by importing this in the system to play it correctly.
It's all good. You want to just send me the audio and I'll plug it in?
But I'll just play it here for you.
Totally.
Let me find it. Hold on. It's something that we say every night with my kids, and I started making it up. Gosh, I don't know. It was just a few months ago or something, and my kids thought it was really silly at first, which it is. But now they kind of look forward to doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's just sort of like some affirmations that they do.
Okay.
And so this is when my parents were staying over, or when my parents watched the kids a few nights ago, they recorded my son saying this at nighttime.
Okay, say it again.
You hear that?
Hang on just a second. I want to get where I can see it.
There you go. I'm strong. I'm brave. I'm kind. I'm smart. I'm loved. I'm perfect.
So that's what he says every night.
By memory.
I'm strong. And we do little hand signals for us. So it's I'm brave like a strong person. I'm brave. I'm strong. You put your hands on your hips like a superhero. I'm brave. I'm strong. I'm kind. You put your hand on your heart. Yeah. I'm smart. You put your finger to your temple, which my kids kind of have a lisp. So it sounds like they say I'm fart. I'm smart. I'm loved. You give yourself a hug, and then you say I'm perfect, and you give thumbs up. So that's what we do every night before they go to sleep. And then we give hugs and kisses and they lay down.
That's great.
That's awesome. Our nighttime quote that we say, and it's one that a lot of families say, we have 2. So I always tell my kids, remember that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And then after we say that, I say, I love you to the moon. And then they say, and back to me. So that's how we end up finishing our nights most of the time.
That's cute. Whenever Quaid falls asleep in my arms, I will tell him, "You're a champion. You're a leader." You know how if you're
like a coach.
Exactly.
Words.
But he's asleep, so I'm trying to get into his subconscious, and I am like, "You're a champion. You're a leader. You're strong. You're the best in the world." So I'm trying to make sure that he's got all the self-confidence in the world. So I hope he's to the point where he is so narcissistic that nothing can ever touch him.
Yeah, right. But if we build our kids up too much, guys, and then they get a bad grade on a test, are they going to feel terrible about themselves? Do we build them up too much sometimes? That's what I tell myself.
Maybe so, but my self-esteem is so low personally that I need to overcorrect that with my son.
There's some people that I follow on TikTok, which is where I get all of my news and entertainment. And it's a guy, it's like a child therapist, and I've heard this before, but he has said that you don't want to tell your kid you're smart. Oh wow, great job getting an A on that test. You're so smart. What you want to reward is the effort they put in.
Yeah. So
because, if they build themselves up thinking they're so smart, and then they don't get into Harvard, then their whole identity is ruined because they've been told they're smart their whole life. But you just say, you tried really hard. I'm so proud of that. They're more apt to continue to try hard regardless of the result.
Now, this might be a little too off the beaten path, but... do you feel like you shouldn't teach your kid to work hard? I think that
teach him to work hard.
Listen, I feel like, and this is going to be a little bit of a rant.
Okay.
My father always taught me, be the hardest worker in the room. Don't just get the job done no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
And you'll be successful that way. And some would call me successful, but I have not achieved the level of success that I want to be at. And I see other people that are absolute morons that don't do anything on this planet that have achieved higher success than me. So what I want to tell Quaid is go and do the bare minimum and barely squeak by, and you will probably be just as rewarded as anybody that works as hard as they possibly can with their blood coming from their fingers.
Let me ask you what you believe success is. Do you think success is monetary value, or do you think success is the happiness that your work and your job brings you? Because
Money.
Yeah, what do you mean? Money
Money.
makes sense. That's
JC,
coming from a person that has the money.
Yeah, that's a quote that comes from someone that has money. Is no, it's about happiness. No, it's probably like 75% money and 25%
somewhere in the middle, right? It's somewhere in the middle.
Quality of life and job.
Yeah, and so you have as long, to me, success is as long as you got your family that you care about, you have a loving wife, which you do. How many of those dudes that you think are very successful that have a bunch of money are in the crappiest marriage and they always fight?
Sure.
And kids act like jerkwads the whole time. And they might have all that success that we aspire to have, but in the end, they want what we have.
So maybe I
That's
should
the
teach
true
him to
success.
work hard on his personal relationships. Don't
Sure.
work
Yeah, you
hard.
work hard on
work.
other things.
Teach them to be good humans, basically,
Trey,
right?
I 100% believe, agree with you. I'm in the exact same boat. Of course, I'm not exactly doing what I want to do. It's great. I love it. I never want to complain.
Very successful.
Yeah, it's great.
Compared to anybody on
and
the
so
planet.
it is a trade-off. There is some sort of balance because, and all of my friends would probably say the exact same thing every time we get together. My friend who's working at XYZ car dealership deals with the exact same stuff. He's there open to close, but they won't fire the guy who hasn't sold a car in 7 years because they just don't want to deal with it. So they're both getting paid the same. One guy's doing more work, but they're in the same spot. So it's like, what's the point of working hard? So I know exactly what you mean, Trey. And I don't know what that answer is. I don't know how you teach your kid that.
Right.
Because I think in general, the overall lesson should just be to work hard and hopefully
you get where you want to go.
Yeah, you get there where you get there. And you also have to teach them to be political. You got to teach them to negotiate salaries every 2.5 years and all of that, which a lot of people don't do.
And real quick, Trey, too, you touched on something a little bit earlier when we got into this discussion about, when your kid fails on a test, right? And I went to I lived in an area that was predominantly Asian, and in those families, academics, or at least with the kids that I know, my friends, academics was everything. And if those kids didn't get straight A's, it was bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
The parents held them to that high standard. What I do with my kids, though, because my kids they do pretty well in school so far, and again, they're only in 4th grade and 2nd grade, so how hard could school be? But it's still, to their level, is hard. Kaysen has, for the most part, he's got straight A's. But this year, there was a week where he was leaning too much on his smart, on the whole fact that we call him smart. And he had a spelling test, and he didn't study that entire week. Now, I don't push my kids to study. I told them it's your job. If you want to get the good grades and you want to get the good the top tier for your money, for your what's it called when you pay kids?
Allowance?
Your allowance. Thank you. I forgot the word. So if you want to be at the top tier and get straight A's for your allowance, you got to put in the hard work. You got to do the study. That week he didn't. And he came home with his first ever, I think it was like a 79%, his first ever C. And he came home and he was so afraid to show me. He was, and I think this is where I might have gone wrong, and I might have put a little too much stress on being, on how smart he is and doing well. He was scared to tell me. And he showed it to me, and instead of responding the way my parents responded if I would have shown up with a C, or the way my friends' parents would have responded if they showed up with a C, and screaming at them and telling them, what are you doing, and grounding them and taking away something, I just looked at him and I said, okay, how does that C make you feel? And he goes, I feel like I could have done better. And I said, absolutely. So next test you take, because there will be plenty of other tests, just make sure you study instead of putting it off. Don't procrastinate. And the look he was giving me was one of those like, wow, okay. So you're not angry at me for failing. You're accepting my failures, and you're telling me that I could do better next time. You know, so it was one of those where we can learn from our parents is, you know, if you had really tough parents, don't make your children so afraid to fail, because that's going to create so much anxiety for them in school.
Right.
So now I feel like Kaysen's a little bit more free when it comes to that. If he screws up, he knows I'm not going to get mad at him. I'm just going to tell him, hey, try better next time. I'm not going to yell at him. I'm not going to ground him. All I need is your best. And
I gotta get up for Case, and that 79 is where I lived in all of my academic grades. That was the sweet spot. 79 didn't fail. I can still play my sports. I can still do theater. Let's do this. All right.
I was aiming more for like the 81 because at least that's the B. But
at least that's a B. Sure. Yeah, B's, a few A's trickled in there, but I was a B student with a few C's on the tail end, a few A's on the high end.
Yeah, there's always going to be a time for them to redeem themselves. But if you get off on them and you yell at them for one time, one screw up, I feel like that could create so much stress. That's how I felt when I was a kid.
And you know, I think as you get older and you do have kids, and it's not always in practice or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but like you kind of realize that when the parents were hard on the kid or whatever. For the most part, I feel like a lot of that toughness comes from a good place. It's just coming out in a bad way.
Right.
Because the parent wants the kid to do better than the parent did growing up. You know,
exactly.
My goal for 7 generations from now is to have the next Bill Gates, Elon Musk running the world, because every generation should improve, succeed, move up, move on in the world.
Right.
That's what you would hope. So I think, you know, a lot of parents are just trying to get their kid to have a little bit better life than they had or a better future than they had, and it comes off in a bad way.
Right, exactly.
And you know, there was a genius that invented a new a service called BetterHelp.
Yeah,
love this.
If you are struggling with lots of different issues that you need to talk with someone with, you can do that with BetterHelp. It's an online counseling service that you can do right from the comfort of your own home. No more driving across town in traffic. You don't have to wait in an awkward waiting room. You can do it from the comfort of your couch. You can do it on the phone. You can do it on video, and you can talk to licensed professionals to help walk you through the things you're dealing with.
And if you're wondering what is therapy, it's whatever you want it to be. So it depends on the issues that you're dealing with, whether you're feeling depressed or if you're having issues at home with mom and dad, or if you're having issues with your spouse. They have therapists with all the range that you could possibly imagine to help you out with all the situations you could be in.
There's a broad range of expertise available too for any of those things that you just mentioned, and it all comes at a really great price. It's affordable. Unlike a lot of therapy where you actually do have to go into an office and pay a ton of money, BetterHelp does it for a lot cheaper, and it's convenient, professional. Everything that you say is completely confidential. And you know how I know all that? Because of their testimonials. There's a bunch of testimonials up on their site, and you can check it out before jumping onto this deal right here. In fact, there's so many people jumping on to using BetterHelp that they are having to recruit additional counselors in all 50 states.
So we want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you're going to get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/daddies. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, BetterHelp, HELP.com/daddies.
Perfect.
Can I change the subject for a little bit?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
What's up, Nick?
Have we moved on from
sure.
our high horses?
It's my own little therapy session right there. I'll talk to BetterHelp about it after this.
We're gonna take a family vacation for the first time over 4th of July coming up. We're gonna fly on a plane. We're going to a beach. It's gonna be a whole ordeal. And I'm not necessarily worried too much about the plane. I know I can just shovel some snacks in their face and put an iPad in front of them, and hopefully that will do what we need to do.
It will. It works.
So I'm not too worried about being where we're going. We're staying with my brother and sister-in-law and grandparents, so he's going to have cousins. Our kids will have cousins to play with, fun people to be with. It'll be great. But what I'm worried about is at the airports using the restroom, because my son is potty trained now.
Okay.
And for the most part, he doesn't have too many accidents. But when my son uses a restroom, and now especially since we're going out a little more often, we're going to a restaurant here and there, or the public library again, since we've been locked up for a year, my son just cannot not put his hands all over the toilet. When he's at home, his hands are all over the toilet seat. He's climbing up, puts his hand on the seat while he's going or whatever. And so like we'll go out to a restaurant or something or, guys, there's been a few times where we've been at soccer practice and he has to use the public park restroom that hasn't been cleaned in 20 years. And so seriously, we walked in. I was like, you're just going to go behind the building and pee.
Yeah.
So I'm worried. I'm terrified of what's going to happen at the airport because JC and we got to travel for the Kid Craddock Morning Show recently. We flew on an airplane for the first time in so long. And I was just smacked in the face with how disgusting airport bathrooms are, at least men's rooms. I don't know what they are for ladies.
Right.
But like, I am so terrified about taking him, because we're going to have to go 5 times when we're at the airport, just in case. And he's going to want to grab everything. We might have to wait because the lines get backed up. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do.
I think you're just going to have to scare him. You're just going to have to tell him,
hold it?
You're gonna, no, don't tell him to hold it, but just tell him, hey, if you touch these seats, you could get really sick, buddy.
Yeah.
Like there's some bad stuff on these seats, man. There's other people's poo-poo and other people's pee-pee, and you don't want to touch that. You got to scare him.
And it's like, we're going to be and he says ridiculous things on the potty anyway, so that might be funny for people around. But like, we go to the bathroom and it's like, okay, we shut the door. It's disgusting. So I'm going to have to spend 2 minutes wiping things down with toilet paper.
Bring a whole vat of
my son doesn't love loud noises. Those automatic flushers are going to be an issue. That's the only thing I'm worried about with this trip is the restrooms at the airport.
Oh man!
So I don't know how to do it.
You can't bring your own Lysol through because the 3 ounces rule or whatever.
We could bring wipes. I could bring like disinfectant wipes. Maybe that might be quicker.
Good enough.
It is. It's still nasty.
You know what my issue was with Kaysen when we started traveling and going to airports or even anywhere in public, was that he was a pants to the ground kind of pee guy.
Which is amusing to a point.
Yeah, which is cool, but I don't know which dudes are in there. I don't want random guys staring at my kid's butt cheeks. So I would stand there like his bodyguard and basically shield him. I was like basically a dad shield while he stands there.
You stand with your back to his, arms crossed, making eyes with every guy that walks in, like I'm watching where your eyes are going, mister.
And the next thing I know, he's, because urinals are fun, but then so's the wall. And there was a couple times where he peed on the wall because why not? So, yeah, peeing with kids in public is hard.
I have a legitimately bad question. How often do you think you've met a pedophile?
It's probably more than you assume, than you would hope.
That's a terrifying thing to think about.
Have I told you about we just moved, right? At our old neighborhood, Kinsey one day went on, there's websites, by the way, if you're a new parent, there are websites where you can go on and it'll tell you where the pedophiles live around you. Now, we thought we were safe, but it turned out that there was literally a dude that was a convicted pedophile in our neighborhood, and he lived by the pool. And we had a community pool. And one day we were having a party for the whole neighborhood. And so all the kids were out there swimming and stuff. And I'm in the pool with Kinsey, with my wife. And I see her eyes just dart to the entrance of the pool. And she goes, that guy, that's the pedophile. That's him. He showed up. Mind you, he's not allowed to come to these things. So Kinsey gets out and she calls the police and says, there's a convicted pedophile who's on the website. He's at the pool with our kids. And unfortunately, the police was not able to do anything because it's private property since it's our neighborhood, right? So it's our HOA. It's private property. It's not like it was public property. If it was at the park, they'd come and get him real quick because he shouldn't do that. So she goes, so he could just stay here? And he goes, well, unless you guys ask him to leave, but I would leave him alone. You're not, he's a citizen. He's out of jail. We don't think anybody should approach these individuals and all that. And so Kinsey hangs up with the police department, and she's sitting there and she's stewing at the pool, and she goes, no, forget this. My daughter's over here in a little cute bathing suit, and Kaysen's walking around in his little cute board shorts, and so are all the kids. No. Kinsey got up. She walked over to the dude's table, who was sitting there with his wife. And she goes, is your name? He was married, by the way. So she goes, is your name so-and-so? Says his name. And he looked at her weird and he goes, yeah, are you friends with my daughters? And she goes, no, but I know what you did. And I saw you on the website. And I know that you should not be around any kids. So leave. Mm-hmm. And he just looked at her, put his glasses back on, nodded, grabbed his stuff, and left.
Okay, it was a better ending than there was no arguments or anything?
No, he didn't,
okay,
he didn't fight. He didn't argue that it wasn't him. He didn't try to even lie about it. He just basically nodded, put his glasses on. His wife even said, sorry for the inconvenience, and she got up and left with him.
Now, that's good on Kinsey. Generally, I'm the guy that'll just pack up and go. Be like, nope, I'll the one leave. That's out. I'll leave. Mm-hmm. But that's Kinsey goes, no, this is not right. My kids should be able to have fun and enjoy themselves, and the parents should be able to be comfortable. Yeah. And she took charge. I applaud her.
And he was sitting facing the pool and everything, and he had his phone out, and basically what he had been charged with was creating a website for pedophiles. And facilitating videos and creating videos for other pedophiles. That's what this dude had been charged with. So she's like, I don't want you sitting here with your phone and taking videos and pictures of our kids. We don't feel comfortable. And he left just like that. No issue, nothing. Just got up and left. So yeah, I think you come across these people, these individuals, whether they're in the system or whether they haven't gotten caught yet. But I think it happens way more often than we would like.
What I was going to say is that on those websites, that's only if they're convicted, not someone that hasn't been caught yet or is just interested or curious in, kids. So it's definitely scary. And, you'll go to, I'll drop a kid off at Sunday school at church, and it's like, there's a guy there.
Right.
And there are women who have been accused of terrible crimes too, but the stereotype or the stats are just, it's all dudes basically. And it's like,
And it tells you, these websites,
you got to question everything.
These websites tell you when they committed their crime. It tells you what it was. It does updated pictures because they're supposed to check in ever so often. Because
what's interesting is you can see the pictures. You can see like each parole, it's not a mugshot, but just like an updated picture. Yeah. You can see how they've, progressed over their pictures have changed over the years and stuff.
And these are tools that all parents should use because you should be aware of your surroundings and you should be aware of who's around your kids. And if you do happen to see these people out at the park, there you have a reason to either leave, or if you feel like there's a threat, call the police and let them know this guy is breaking his parole.
Good information.
Yeah. Have you done that yet, Trey? Have you looked up those websites?
I did it in our apartment, and I don't know why I haven't done it in my new home, but he doesn't get out that much, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far so good.
So far so good. Look at all the things we tackled. We got serious today. Ooh. We solved a lot of parenting issues, I think.
Yeah, I think we did.
Where's my PhD?
Yeah.
I don't want to be called doctor.
I don't want to end on such a sour note. JC, say something funny.
You can't just throw it out to me like that. You say something funny, Trey. Don't you have jokes for your kids yet?
Ooh, let's see. Jokes for the kid. Did you hear the one about the pencil where the tip broke off?
No, what happened?
It was pointless. Never mind. I probably have told that on this podcast.
Yeah,
probably.
You may have. I don't know. And look, we don't remember it.
Yeah, just hit us up on @ChattyDaddies on Instagram, or you can leave us a message on the number in the description below. And we love you.
And make sure you leave us a good 5-star review. And make sure you leave us a good 5-star rating and a review wherever you listen to this wonderful podcast. See you next week.
Hey, Trey. I only know 25 letters in the alphabet.
Oh, yeah? Well, wait, I think there's 26, right?
I don't know why, man.
The Chatty Daddies Podcast.